Hi everybody, we're back for step 3. Okay, now we're going to go back to our embossed wood grain tags. Okay, and we're going to lay those out like this, but on one of them, I'm going to place this arrow clip. Bringing in another element. There we go. There's one part of the clip, you'll see that's open like that, and I just want to put that like that. You want to leave the end of the arrow off a little bit. Now these tags are going to need to have a little bit of tacky glue on them or hot glue. Glue stick isn't going to be enough. I'm just going to put some of this on with my fingertips. Glue stick isn't going to be enough to hold those in place. I also want to put a little bit over my clip to keep it in place once it dries. Okay, the first one I'm going to place at an angle. That. Okay, and the second one, put some more glue on that. You can see our little experiment on the back of this one. Okay, and we want to put that one at an angle this way. All right, so now we have worked with paper, embossed paper, embossing paste. Now we're going to add in a new element, which is fabric, burlap. I love the texture and feel of burlap and just the look of it. So we're going to glue this down, but before we do, I want to try to get a little bit more of a frayed edge. So all you have to do is to get that frayed edge is to separate some of this very loose weave and just pull it off like that. You're going to get that great edge. Just a couple of them. Yeah, this one needs a little bit more of a fray. Now don't throw these away. We're going to use these in a minute on some buttons. Okay, so now, once again, this burlap is heavier than the glue stick will hold, so we're going to put a little bit of tacky or hot glue, whichever you prefer, on that to keep that down. We're going to put this on point, so it's sort of overlapping these tags, and we want this corner not to go straight up to the top. We want it to be just a little bit off center, but it isn't squared up. Okay, there we go. Okay, our next element, we're going to bring in the foiled paper towel with the bird's nest, and on the first layer I just put some foam tape, just a little bit of foam tape to give it some dimension. So we're going to put the first layer down like that. Okay, and here's the second layer. It also has foam tape. And we just line up that edge here and here with the first image. Okay. And then we're going to put the next layer. What's great about these paper towel images is that they are numbered on the backing sheet, so you don't have to guess which is the first, second, or third layer. But just to add a little something different, this particular one is complete if you were following the directions on the paper towel package, but I'm going to borrow this bird from another element, and we're going to just add that right in there. And then, oops, you know what, I forgot to add this layer in. No worries, we'll just put that right there. Okay, so we have 4 layers, and then the bird. Okay, and then this one was the extra art piece, and we're just going to put that right there. All right, there we go. So now we're going to take those flowers. Remember those flowers that we had, that we tinted blue? I fixed one of those petals with a little tacky glue. Can't even tell. So now we're going to take a little tacky glue and put that right there. We're going to put the larger one there. And you may get slightly different sizes of these in your kit. That's okay. I like bigger ones and smaller ones. They just all look really pretty. Here we go. And then you got some buttons in your kit. Let me grab these. They look like that. And we're going to take these and we're going to thread them with little extra burlap pieces that you took off, but only some of them. In fact, here's some that I've pre-threaded. Okay, so about half your buttons. And you want to mix the sizes, you know, don't thread just all the large ones. And threaded that burlap fiber in there. Just tie a little overhand knot. There we go. And I like to do some with burlap and some without, just for a little added interest. Having them all threaded, not only does it take more time, they just look a little too uniform to me. All right, so now we're going to put a little clue in the back of that one. Okay, and here's another one. Oops, need a little more glue on that one. You can see now with this look, we're layering one element on top of the other. And that's what I just really love about mixed media. These elements have something in common. They might have a theme in common where the flowers have these in common, or they might have texture in common or color in common, but it's just putting one layer on top of the other that share some element in common, so it's not just, you know, utter random chaos. Okay, this pink one with thread we're going to put down here directly on that embossing, so you can see that. And then now we're going to add in the ones that don't have any paste on them, have any. There we go. And we're going to add this one, oh, right about there. And we're going to take this last little one and we're going to put that up there. All right. Now we're going to add our ribbon. Now the ribbon is going to come, your navy blue ribbon is going to come on a little palette like this, okay? And when you take it off of this, it's going to have some kinks in it. So I would encourage you, my hands are sticky, I would encourage you to not use it like this, okay? I don't think you're going to be happy with using ribbon that has some kinks in it. So what I did was I just took my ribbon and I heated up my iron, my clothes iron, and put a towel down, and then I just put the iron on top and the towel underneath, and I just ran the ribbon quickly under the iron, and it's all nice and flat and pretty now. And we also have some white twine. And the first element is going to be the white twine. And I'm going to make a loopy bow with that. And how I do that is I just make a series of loops back and forth. 4 is good. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to take this extra length, wrap it around the center. And if you have an extra pair of hands to help you with this, it's always a good idea. Let me see if I can do it without an extra pair of hands. There we go. Okay, so I'm just tying that right there to secure those loops. I'm going to tie it one more time. All right. So that's done. Now, to give these ends a little bit more of a finished look, I'm going to knot them. I always like to knot the ends of the twine. Just gives it just another little detail that, I guess it's just really all about the details, isn't it? It may not be something that you notice right away. Okay, so this one is also going to get some glue. It's going to go right there. Okay. And then I've got my nice ironed ribbon. My hands are sticky from the glue. Okay. So I've got my ribbon here, and I'm going to use enough to make a loop that's about 2 inches, 1.5 inches long. And I get asked all the time, how do you tie ribbon? And for one thing, it's practice, but also I just imagine that I'm tying my shoe. And it never turns out perfectly the first time. You have to just kind of keep working it. But once you get the loops in the shape and they're sort of secured like you would tie your shoe, then you can feel free to move them around and manipulate them. Okay, until it looks the way you want. And then take some scissors and I'm just going to angle those tails. I always like to angle the tails. I don't like to cut straight across. For one thing, it can come kind of unraveled, and when you cut them in an angle, it doesn't unravel as easily, and it just looks a little sharper. Okay, that's going to go right there. Okay, so the last element here is my alphabet tiles, and I cut them out very close to the edge, right on the edge. I take a little bit of my brown ink, and I'm just gonna take that and apply it to the edge of each letter. And what that does is two things. Number one, it kind of makes that letter stand out even more. And number two, if you're not the greatest at cutting, you might even get a little bit of a white edge there, this just covers that right up. See, right here, I have a little bit of a white edge. So I'm just going to cover that right up. Okay, last one. And we just don't need a lot of ink on there. I wouldn't use the ink pad surface for this one. Just using an applicator just gives it a little bit more of a feathered look. Okay, there we go. Now you can either put foam tape on the back of these or you can use glue. I'm going to use glue. And I liked to put Sing on mine. You could personalize this. You've got plenty of alphabet tiles, so you could personalize them with somebody's name. You could put a year on it if it's a wedding or an anniversary you're celebrating. You could put fly instead of sing. Whatever sort of words are inspirational to you or that work for your occasion. And I also like to put alphabet tiles, I never like to put them straight across. First of all, it's harder to put things straight. Inevitably, you have to keep moving them to get them straight. If you put them overlapping like this, it looks intentional. Well, it is intentional, but you just can't make a mistake. So it's sort of, it looks a little intentionally haphazard, we'll say. There we go. And then we also have let me see if I can find my bird. Here we go. Get that out of the package. And you can put your bird up here. You could put it down here if you like. I think I'm going to put it here on this one. On the original, it's up a little higher. But here, I think I like it like that. So feel free to kind of manipulate those however it's going to work best for your particular project. Okay? So the last part is we're going to put the hanger on the back of this particular project. I think I'm going to show you my original project here for this last part. Got my tag on there. Okay, so you've got a self-adhesive hanger right here. Get one of these in your kit. You just peel it off, put it right there. I chose not to use the holes as my hanger. If you wanted to, you could leave this hanger off and you could take a hole punch and re-punch those holes and thread some of the extra ribbon through there and have a really nice hanger that goes over the top of that, like that, if you want to do that. But I want my hanger to be invisible on this particular project. So there you go. Here's our finished project that we did together tonight. I need to remember to glue that bird down. It fell off. There we go. So stay tuned for the next segment, and we're going to put together a card.